Okay, so in this video we're going to temper some chocolate and we're going to use a basic technique of seeding. So first job first is I've got 1 kilo of 70% chocolate in here. And I'm just going to melt this over bain-marie until about 45 degrees. And in this bowl I've got 1/3 of that, so I've got around about 333 grams of the same chocolate, which I'm going to add to that once it's hit 45 degrees to seed. So I'm melting my chocolate over a bain-marie. You have to be really careful when you do this that it's a very gentle simmer. You don't want too much heat. Chocolate will easily burn if it's taken above 50-60 degrees, and it will make it very, very hard for you to work with and temper, especially white chocolate and milk chocolate because it's got more sugar in it. So a very gentle heat. Okay, so once your chocolate's at 45 degrees, take it off the heat. Remove any moisture, as water and chocolate are, when you're tempering it, worst enemies. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our chocolate. I'm not going to add all this at once because we might not need it. It will change in how cold your room is, how cold your chocolate is. So there's many variants that can determine the end product. So only do a little bit at a time. And what you're doing is you're just adding it and mixing it. And by doing that, you're cooling down the chocolate. You're adding fresh crystals, tempered crystals, the good crystals, into the uncrystallized chocolate, and you're seeding it. This is why we call seeding it. So the good crystals will start to attach themselves to the uncrystallized crystals, if you wish, and start to form an amalgamated crystallized state. Stirring is very important for this technique, as it will cause the friction and agitation of the crystals. A bit more. If you find yourself added too much of the seed and it won't no longer melt, you can put it slightly back onto the bain-marie just to warm it up very, very slightly, or you can use a hairdryer or a paint stripper gun, which is the norm in the industry. Okay, so I think this is tempered now. I'm just going to do a test just to make sure. Always do a physical test to ensure that you've got the correct crystallization before you use it. Okay, so I can start to see that it's setting around the edges, nice and fast. This is what we're looking for. I can also see that it's setting without any streaks or blemishes, so a nice smooth finish. And that's how you temper chocolate in the most easiest way possible.